presence.
Absolutely. I always tell a story when I very first we very first bought the store. I was sitting at the Ram up in Lake Stevens where we had bought our house, having a beer with my wife and talking to some stranger sitting next to me, and I'm saying, hey, I just opened up a business here in Everett, Washington. Tell me about the people that live around here. What do they love? They love the Aqua Sox and they love the Silver Tips.
There you go.
So if you support the Aqua Sox and the Silver Tips, you're going to be okay by the people that live around here. And so I tell that story because it's above my door. You can't see it where the angle the camera's pointing at me, but above my door is a goalie stick from the Silver Tips, signed by the Silver Tips from a couple years ago.
How nice!
They made me my own jersey. I got my BUTLER jersey. I got more hockey pucks, and I don't than I probably know what to do with. And I'm sitting on a show with two Canadians talking about hockey, so I feel like I've made it. I'm almost like an honorary Canadian today. Isn't that great?
I joke with Sheriff Mark Lamb. I joke with him. I said, remember, Greg Meakin's your secret campaign advisor and token Canadian. Yeah. I'd asked Deborah this morning, can you imagine Topeka, Kansas, 42 years ago or whatever, 50 years ago, that God comes down and says, hey, Deb, I'm going to introduce you to a Canadian hockey player. She would have said, I'm not interested, pass.
I said, that's where I always felt like, for me, I love my Canadian friends. You've always been one of my dearest Canadian friends, but I don't know, I don't think it's just the hype, but I've never met nicer people than I've met, when we talk about, but this team, I'm telling you, Greg, this team this year, they're going to win it all. I was there last year. They missed the finals. I was there for the game 7, and they missed out in like the last 2 minutes, but they have absolutely annihilated everybody. And that crowd is there for it. They sold out the last 5 games in a row.
Wow.
Filled up that arena, and they all have their cowbells. I mean, it literally, get a big Tylenol with you. Those cowbells never stop.
You're getting it all.
They're maniacs. Those Silver Tip fans are maniacs.
You're getting it all. I mean, that's a capacity, 10,000 capacity arena, but you're feeling like I always say, I was raised in Montreal with our 24 championships. Thank you very much. But same thing. Once you've gone to, and I've always said to my American friends when I came down here in 83, you got to go to you got to watch playoff hockey.
Oh, yeah.
And in this case, you're watching it just for folks out there. What Eric's talking about is not NHL, but it's juniors. It's the Western Hockey League, if I remember. And these guys, you want to go and watch these guys because they honestly, they're very often just like the NHLer, except more crazy. More because they're a couple of years younger. I love those guys. I'll bet you have pretty good seats there, Eric. Do you have good seats there?
I do. I mean, I have a great guy. Joel is our guy from Silver Tips, and he's the guy I can send a text. Hey, I need tickets can I get tickets for tonight's game? And he always puts me where I always like to be behind the goal. I like to watch those guys come at the just watch them pass on the puck, and I've never been more impressed than watching how absolutely hardcore these guys are as far as how they can just fight each other. But I mean, they're so good on the ice and how they can skate, backwards, frontwards, sideways, stop, go. I mean, it's nuts, and they're all like, I think I'm not sure about the ages this year, but last year the youngest player on the team was 16. The oldest player was 20. They're all from Canada.
Sure.
If they don't make it to the big leagues, the Silver Tips and the ownership for the Silver Tips actually pays for them to go to college.
Wow.
So I mean, it's just a win-win. But these kids show up and they're just babies, but they go out there and they just fight their hearts out. It's so awesome.
Was it a surprise for you because you were